After exactly 10 months of waiting for some new Doctor Who, yesterday saw its return with the episode Revolution of the Daleks. And here are my thoughts. So, my overall impressions on this episode were, it was good. It was really good. It wasn't perfect. There was some stuff that I didn't particularly like or felt could be improved that did sort of detract from the story for me, but not in an overly big way. I really enjoyed it. And I think the main reason for that were the characters, especially the 13th Doctor, played by, of course, Jodie Whittaker, who gave an excellent performance and a great chemistry with Captain Jack and worked really well with all the companions. And again, I thought the companions worked really well this episode. They're rarely the strong point of many Chibnall era scripts, but this one seemed to really do them justice, especially Ryan Graham. Of course, it was that last story. But Yaz, again, seemed to be a standout companion, I think, in this episode, which is really exciting as she is staying on for Series 13. And then, of course, you have Captain Jack, played by John Barrowman, who was amazing. He slotted right back in. He felt right in place with this TARDIS team. It almost felt like he'd been a member of the TARDIS team, this one specifically, for longer than he actually had. And I quite like the way he sort of just appeared in the episode. Obviously, when it started, we're all waiting to see how he would appear, but I think it was kind of a cool misdirect in all the marketing to say he was with the companions when, in fact, he was with the Doctor the whole time, and I really liked that. And yeah, he just slotted back in. And I thought, because he appeared in Fugitive of the Jadoon, if they'd done a whole big fanfare reveal, oh look, it's Captain Jack again in this episode, it wouldn't have worked as well, but they didn't. He just appeared again and worked amazingly. I loved him with Jodie Whittaker's Doctor, and I hope he returns in Series 13 so we can see some more 13 Jack interactions. I thought the story was really interesting, although we'd all kind of predicted by this point they would be human-made Daleks, and then eventually somehow the Bronze Daleks would get involved and destroy them, and then they'd have to stop the Bronze Daleks somehow. And unusually for a Chibnall script, that was kind of what we thought was going to happen, did actually happen. There weren't too many big surprises or really many unexpected moments, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but we kind of all knew what we were in for, and what we thought was going to happen did actually happen. And there were so many promotional pictures of the Bronze Daleks, the new Daleks. It kind of spoilt some of it, because we'd seen all the bits of the new Daleks, but it would have been cool if we'd seen them properly the first time, maybe in this episode, or maybe we didn't know the Bronze Daleks were coming, or something along those lines. It just kind of felt we knew too much about this episode, because there weren't many surprises going into it. But that being said, I really did enjoy the plot. I thought it was unique with this character Leo creating these new Daleks, and then him actually creating the mutant is what causes the Daleks to go evil, not they're just Daleks the whole time who are pretending to be nice. That was quite good for me. I think Leo was a short-lived but also good character. Kind of reminded me too much of Resolution at some points when he was being controlled by the Dalek. That bit kind of felt a bit unoriginal, but I do like it when the Daleks attach themselves to people. I think that makes them creepy. This was just a bit too similar to Resolution for my liking. But I thought it was really good with the companions trying to investigate and figure it out on their own at the beginning. I kind of wish we got more of that, as I'll get onto this in a minute, but yeah, my main issue was that it felt quite rushed, but I'll get onto that in a minute. But I quite like the fact the companions tried to find out what was going on. There was sort of a good 15 minutes before any of our main cast actually appeared. I quite like the fact that the first bit was focused mainly just on Jack Robertson, Joe Patterson, Leo, and this new Dalek. I also quite like the fact that when the Daleks turned, they felt really threatening, these new Daleks. They killed physically everyone they came across, which was really cool. And it felt like they needed the Bronze Daleks to destroy them. And because if they just appeared, turned evil, and hadn't really done much, it felt like, why can't you get rid of that by yourself? But they were really threatening and scary. And in the middle of the episode, when they started killing people, I turned around and went, those are really scary Daleks. I also really like the way they got rid of the new Daleks by calling on the actual proper Bronze Daleks, who then came to Earth and destroyed these new Daleks. And I quite like the mini Dalek Civil War thing they had going on the bridge with them both trying to destroy each other. However, I felt it was a bit one-sided. Maybe some of the Bronze Daleks could have got blown up. And also the Dalek Civil War, although it was cool, it was mainly just one scene, and I feel like that could have really been expanded upon more. I quite like the idea of the Doctor flinging all the new Daleks into this second TARDIS and then basically blowing up. I know she didn't really blow it up, but basically self-destructing this new TARDIS, and that got rid of them all. I thought that was a really cool way of doing it. However, I felt like it should have been some visual indication that maybe not all was as it seemed until we found out what was going on, as it kind of just felt like even when she opened the door and was standing outside, you could clearly see it was her interior in there. Maybe if it had just been the other interior and then people who noticed it would notice it, so it didn't just come out completely nowhere. I felt like they should have built up the Switch TARDIS a bit more, but again, I thought that was a really cool resolution. It just lacked a tiny bit of build-up. Now, I've said lots of positive things. Of course, I said at the beginning it wasn't perfect. There were some gripes I had with it. And unfortunately, one of the things that I thought didn't work so well was the fact it all felt really, really rushed. The Doctor was in prison for about 5 minutes and then she got out. That being said, the scene where they did get out in the breakout ball was really cool. That was definitely one of my favourite scenes, but it just happened way too early in the episode. Also, the music in that scene was phenomenal. That might be my favourite bit of Sega Nakanoda. I listened to the soundtrack this morning. It even has some cues from the Sarah Jane adventures at the start. Like I said earlier, the mini Daleks of the War bit was cool, but it all happened really quickly. We saw a tiny bit of action on the bridge, and then suddenly one of the bronze Daleks turned around and went, "All of the new Daleks have been exterminated." I felt that could have been expanded upon a bit more. Also, you got the bits with Ryan where he discussed about the 10 months of the Doctor. I felt like they could have developed that a bit more as well, physically seeing what life was like for the companions without the Doctor, and again, had more of the Doctor in prison, where she wasn't broken out so early. Another thing I noticed was exactly halfway through this story, it switched from the human Daleks, cool Dalek story to a more character-focused story, which I guess isn't a problem, but the Daleks sort of disappear for the second half, and they don't have much screen time after they've actually turned properly evil. For a story called Revolution of the Daleks, they really aren't in it that much after about the halfway mark, and I felt like it would have been better if they could have had these exact same character moments and these Dalek moments if they'd been spaced out, so you had a Dalek moment, then a character moment, then a Dalek moment, then a character moment, instead of having a half Dalek story, half character story. I feel like they should have interlocked each one with the other one. That being said, it was a really good story, even if the Daleks could have had a bit more screen time and the ideas could have been more developed. But I felt like it was really cool that one of the Doctor's actions had consequences from resolution. I really liked the aspect and it tying into that. That was really cool as well. Oh, and the underrated visual gag at the beginning where it said, "A long time ago, far, far away," and it just says 2019 Cheltenham. I found that really funny. I don't know if anyone else did, but I just loved that bit there. Overall, whilst this isn't a perfect story by any means, I really enjoyed it with Captain Jack and the Doctor's interactions. The companions worked really well, and in the small time they got, the Daleks were really threatening. Also, Jack Robertson worked really well for me. I haven't talked about him much at all, to be fair, but I'm surprised he worked so well. Overall, I give the story a 9 out of 10 and would say it was a really good conclusion to the sort of Series 12 arc of Doctor Who. A really good companion send-off to Ryan and Graham. I really liked their exit and was a good start to the new year, which makes me look forward to what's coming in 2021. What did you think of this episode? Leave a comment down in the comment section below. I will talk about the whole John Bishop playing a new companion at some point in the future, but I want to talk about this episode. What did you think about it? Whatever you thought about it, I've been Cyberman Alf, and from me for now, it's goodbye.